work.
I've got Moose in a kennel, and if he screams, then tell me. I can't let him loose unless I'm like paying attention because he counter surfs. He pulls everything. He's like a toddler on crack. He's literally a perfect dog aside from he
Wait,
doesn't.
I thought he got fostered.
She had to go on vacation, and literally nobody else would watch him because he needs meds. 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 4, 8, and 10. So I've got like it's nonstop alarms going off and giving him medicine. But he hasn't had a single seizure, and he doesn't know he had brain surgery. So like trying to keep a happy dog calm is very, very hard. He's like 2, but he's perfect. I love him. I just don't want him in my house. I won't say that. Delete that. This is the part.
Is it blurry?
It's okay.
Okay.
Like, it's not like they're gonna see our faces anyways.
No, I was saying the sound it was catching. Did you hear it?
No.
Okay, never mind. Ready?
Let's do it.
Sorry, we're kicking off season 5.
I know.
Okay, and so this is the first episode, and then we air Cat Ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Cat Lady, can we talk about Cat Lady? Jen.
She's annoying as all heck, and I can't stand her. So that's
Jen,
my
we
opinion.
thought you were a talker. I don't think we might have asked 2 questions.
Yeah, so me and Sheila are like texting each other and like, when is she gonna let us talk? And I'm like, I'm trying to ask a question. I literally, I don't ever talk, right, Jen? But I had questions.
She's been here freaking 2 days, and she bosses people around. She bosses me around, which I hate. And she acts like she knows it all, and I don't like her at all. But the cat people are weird, and maybe that's just a thing. So
Yeah, they are.
Can you-
Because when
who's
we were
screaming?
listening to her,
I'm gonna cut.
when we were listening to her, it was like her and Shelby would get along so well.
Yeah. I don't like her. I don't want anything to do with her, and I hope she doesn't last. That's my honest opinion.
Did you hear what Jen said?
No.
She hopes she doesn't last. Well, you know, there's a curse with our podcast.
What's the curse?
The new people that what is it?
We interview them and then they get, remember the new CFO, CMO or whatever, what was her name?
Did you guys do a podcast with her?
Yes.
I never listened to it. Was that actually published?
Yes, and there was another one too. That wasn't too long after we did the podcast.
Dina with the Osawatomie shelter.
Oh.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, we fired her like a week after that one. I
Yes.
remember that. I'm like,
Literally
it's
did
fine.
She shared her whole life story and how long and how committed she was.
Oops. Except
Okay,
she
you
did
ready
our-
to start?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Can
Can you guys hear Moose?
No.
Sorry. Okay, because he's literally screaming and I can hear him. So,
No, we can't hear.
okay.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the doggone truth about rescue as we kick off somehow already our 5th season, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how we got here. I also don't know how we keep track of seasons, but it just felt right to start the next
I
season.
was gonna say, how are we in season 5 when we're 3 years into the podcast? So,
Well, it's the
somebody
same
needs
with
to
me.
define their season.
Well, because we're going into season 5. So like the first year, season 1, I did go back and track this because we started in 2022. So season 1, 23, season 2, 23, season 3, 24, season 4. Right? Or did I
So
just say that
20
wrong?
How many episodes have we had?
A lot. So I can look it up. But we're basically like going into season like 2026 will be like within our 5th season. So it's the same as like
Okay.
I've lived here for 7 years, but I'm going into my 8th season with the Chiefs.
Yeah. I don't get it, but I'm really tired. So
I will
that's
say we
okay.
did not have as many episodes in season 4, but we also started it or season 4 like last fall. So I'm like, well, we're back in the fall.
Okay.
So it's like a
The
year.
important thing is we didn't quit. So
We
it's all
didn't
good.
quit.
Yeah.
And there's so much every single time. to catch
All
up
right.
on. That's why we needed to start it off with you and catching up. And each season to kick it off, we start with accomplishments. I'm making this up. Just think this is what we usually do. Accomplishments, and then future goals, and then current events. So we're all just going to agree we're starting season 5. The math doesn't have to math, but we're here. Sai's looking up. It makes sense when you look at our episodes.
I like that. What did you just say? Accomplishments, future goals, and what else? Current
Like
issues?
status of like current things.
Current status. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I like we
Okay,
should
so
start
this
there.
will be our. I forgot. I count. Come back.
Just looked it up. Okay, we'll come back.
And you
Okay,
can start with whichever
accomplishments.
one's yours. Yeah, what was it?
So,
What do you think would be the biggest accomplishment since last year?
oh, I say it every day. There's so much to be proud of. We literally just had, and he's the foster in my house. We just had a dog have brain surgery. And if you think about, if you take a step back and you think about the perspective of a rescue going to, let me share the story. Moose came into our care as a stray through Miami County, and he is a boxer pit bull mix. Primarily looks like a boxer, has this amazing grumpy face, 2-year-old, super sweet dog friendly, kid friendly, cat friendly, which is shocking. He's even friends with my cat. But he came into our care maybe 3 months ago. Bouncy, wiggly, wonderful. Loved everyone and everything. And one of the really hard parts about our rescue is, we have a very big following, but people see our animals happy and loved and well taken care of. So what does the mind do? The mind goes, oh, well, this rescue, these dogs are all safe. The rescue's got them. And then they move forward and they see pictures of dogs at kill shelters. So it's hard to understand that our dogs and cats, but I'm using dogs as an example because of Moose's story, came from that. They were abandoned. They were left to die. They were dumped in the country, just like Moose. And that every single time somebody chooses to foster or adopt from us, that opens up a spot for us to save another. Now, if you adopt or foster from us, what you're getting is a dog that we know, that we have tested with other dogs, likely has met other kids. We really don't cat test, but a lot of their energy, you can kind of tell with that. And we walk everybody through that. But with Moose, he came in and nobody applied for him. And he's this beautiful, wiggly, bouncy, amazing boxer who has just a personality that lights up a room. And then finally, this beautiful little family with a ton of tiny humans came along and fell in love with Moose. And they took him home. And within 5 days, he started to have seizures, frontal seizures. And so his entire face would twitch. And to anybody that has ever seen a dog have a seizure, I don't know how to describe it. It's one of the most helpless and terrifying things that you can ever watch with a dog because you really can't help. And sometimes dogs even turn violent on the owner, or your other dogs, if they're in the home, can turn violent on the dog that is seizing. So there's a million horrible things that could happen with seizures. There were no other dogs in the home, but watching this progress with Moose when he had only been with his family 5 days was heartbreaking. And so it was within a matter of a day or two that the seizures started to escalate. And then it wouldn't stop and he's salivating, and we immediately rushed him to Blue Pearl. And when you have one seizure, they don't do anything, right? They watch, they make sure, if you have a second one, then they'll start the seizure meds. But with him, it was consistently and progressively getting worse. So they started seizure meds. And while he was there, they kept continuing. So he was there for probably 4 days to where they finally got the seizures under control. But obviously something sparked this. And so it was like, you have a healthy 2-year-old boxer, and because boxers are known for brain tumors as well. And we had to go all in. And it was an immediate group decision to say, this is a healthy dog. Something triggered this. So we did an MRI. And MRI, to anybody that has ever taken their dog to the vet, knows that's close to $5,000. And then the 4-day stay in the ICU, we're talking close to $8,000 just for this visit. Now, the MRI revealed that there was, in fact, a mass. And the mass actually contained, and I'm not a vet, so or vet tech or anything, but I'm doing my best to explain this in how I
Disclosure,
understand
none
it.
of us are vets.
No, yeah. So when I start talking medical stuff, this is me, how I understand and interpret it, because we do these med team calls and I ask a million questions, and I'm sure I frustrate the heck out of Julie and the vets. But it turns out that there was this actual mucus sac attached to his brain, and his brain, he has a cognitive defect, meaning he was born with it. His brain was actually in his um, sinus cavity. So basically, he had a part of his brain in his nose where a mucus sac formed that was causing pressure on it and causing these frontal lobe seizures, right? This is just, it's amazing. And they thought, so the MRI discovered this. So we're like, okay, now we know what is causing this, which actually there's a lot of hope, but there's still a ton of fear with this because, like, is there cancer in that? Because there was a fear, what they can see on there is part of it was necrotic, basically, I mean, dead inside there. And we didn't know if that was eating into his brain. And so what happened was, okay, so the seizures got under control a bit and they released him from Blue Pearl. We're like, well, should we do this brain surgery? Think about risks when you're going into the brain. He could come out, they could remove the mass, and he could still have these seizures and instantly die. He could wake up and have something worse, suffer even more, and instantly die. And ultimately, these med calls that we have are weighing the pros and cons of suffering versus hope, and a hope of a life worth living, not just living a life for us to continue, but truly get him to where he's back to the joyous, bubbly boxer butt that he was. And so he left the ICU on Thursday. And let me just say, the team at Blue Pearl in Overland Park, Kansas was phenomenal, because what did they do? They took the MRI results and they sent it to Iowa State, they sent it to MU, and they sent it to K-State, and they had the top surgeons look at this MRI. You have a question?
Yeah, I do have a question. I was just going to ask, and this is what I was thinking the whole time, of the faith that you have into these surgeries and medical procedures, that the amount of people, I think, gets to that point and they can't afford it, so they just say no and probably choose euthanasia, that even getting the funding to allow this, to allow then the colleges and veterinarians to like actually see these MRI images and do the surgeries in advance what they're doing for future, it's like beyond even just saving one dog.
You're absolutely right, because, and that's kind of what I hinted at the beginning, the fact that this is a rescue doing this, that this is a rescue saying, let's do the MRI, let's look at the brain of a healthy 2-year-old and let's see if it's even an option to go forward. Because now we're at about $8,000 just for that, for all the care at being at the ICU before that. So we did the MRI and then they consulted with other surgeons, and the amazing part of that was, and this is how we make medical decisions, and this is your faith thing. We get our team together and we say, take money off the table. What would we do? What is the best potential outcome for this individual soul? Does that mean that we have $18,000 to $20,000 sitting in the bank to spend on one soul? No, this is probably one of the hardest months we've ever encountered in our rescue, because we are going forward with opening a new shelter in Wichita. It's an incredible investment on that. We're hiring new people to help out there. We have to build that shelter up with kennels, with cat condos, to get it up to par for the Kansas Department of Agriculture to approve our shelter license. But when you go all in on faith, and when you do something so big and so incredibly important that you know only God can get you through this, that's what our rescue is built on. That's when you have that foundation of faith, that you put it aside and say, if this is the path that we are meant to go on, that is in Moose's best interest, God will help us find a way. And so that's what we did. And we went forward on faith. And it's so hard. And God bless Jane. I think I say that every single podcast because she's our treasurer. So God bless Jane for helping her endure looking at our financials and knowing that we will go through this storm. We will come out on the other side. because the amazing part, and I say this all the time, we don't have an angel donor giving us $1 million here, $1 million there. We have spent over $500,000 just at emergency vets with our regular preventative care only 6 months into the year. Now, I don't know exactly what the numbers are now in September, but I do know just at this one emergency vet, over $150,000. And that's taking the ones nobody else is willing to go all in on. And so to think about it, Moose all in $20,000. So, okay, so we sent out and we heard back from the surgeons and we're like, okay, well, maybe we won't do the surgery, because why would we make him do the surgery if the medicine is kind of working? So that was Thursday. Come Friday, a couple little front twitches. They play with the meds. And we're like, okay, of course it's now the weekend. And anytime an emergency happens on the weekend, you are talking double the cost at an emergency vet, because you have to bring the surgeons in, you have to bring the team in, and so forth. And unfortunately for Moose, the twitching actually started to get significantly worse. He ended up going back to his loving foster, who is about an hour away, but with all the tiny humans who just adore him. And he changed. And he got to the point where he was losing his vision. And anytime somebody would touch him, he would react out of fear. And so they didn't know if he was going to bite them or what was going to happen, but he wasn't wagging his tail. And the Moose that we knew and loved wasn't there anymore. So we immediately brought him back to Blue Pearl. And we said, here's the thing, he can't live like this. This is not a life worth living. This is goodbye, or this is give him a chance. And the only way that God can perform miracles is if we open our heart and trust him and give him that chance to do it. And that meant going forward with the surgery. So they brought him in. We brought him back into the Blue Pearl. That was Sunday night. Monday, they did a CAT scan. Now, the CAT scan, they wanted to identify exactly where to go. I truly don't know the difference between a CAT scan and MRI. I feel like it's just imaging and the x-rays, and it's all about ways to see things differently. But they precisely wanted to know where to go in and get that mucus sac. So it was actually a really exciting surgery. Julie even asked if she could stand in and watch, but they wouldn't let her because this was so rare. Because you hit the nail on the head, Sheila. People cannot afford to do this. And I know I'm going to go off on tangent on this, but one of the things and it's a very slippery slope. One of the things that I love is that when we have an alumni, or we have somebody that reaches out and is struggling, and they're in a position where they're going to have to let their dog or cat go and need help, people put up GoFundMes and our followers support it. Because if you take the view that these are all God's animals, and if you take the view that if you were in need and asked for help for your animals, someone would donate, and you have the ability to do it, it's just an amazing community of love. And that's the approach that we took with Moose. We went all in on faith, and they did a brain surgery. It's exactly 1 week now, and Moose is in my home, and you would not know this dog had brain surgery. Bouncing off the walls. He's got a big scar in the middle of his head. Okay, so here's the really interesting about this. When they went into his brain and they pulled that mucus sac out, they actually took a piece of his fat, his neck, and they put it back where the mucus is, because they couldn't leave a hole there. Now, there's a technical term for all this. I don't know it. But basically, Craig's like, oh, well, we could call him Booger, because they pulled out the boogers.
Skin graft.
Yeah.
Skin. Okay. So, and so his neck looks worse than his head. And he is just, we got the phone call that he woke up, but not only did he wake up, he woke up eating, he woke up happy, he woke up the Moose that he was before the surgery. And I know I say it all the time, so many miracles happen every single day with Always and Forever. It's just astounding to me that we even question it anymore, because God keeps showing us he's in everything and he is with us every day. And even in the hardest parts when we don't want to continue. I don't know if you guys saw, my parents lost their dog last night.
Yes.
And it's like, you just wake up and don't want to wake up sometimes. And I don't know, it's so crazy how you can be so connected to a soul even when they're not even living with you. But you know, like I know the love my dad had for that dog. And I know the love that my mom had for him. So when you feel people you love's pain of losing the animals that they love, you carry that too. So even with the heaviness of grief and loss and sorrow, you know, God picks you up and he surrounds you with these people that keep you going. Because rescue is just so incredibly hard. But what you focus on and what you put out in the world always comes back to you. And that will always be our most amazing accomplishment, is just the foundation of love that we have built to go through the changes of continually pushing ourselves to grow. And, you know, many people will say, hey, you just spent $20,000 on one single dog. You know how many animals you could vaccinate with that or spay and neuter? And here's my response to that. You're exactly right. We could probably vaccinate 1,000 animals, 20,000 animals, whatever it is. That's not our purpose. That's not our mission. That's a beautiful mission. But what we do is we look at every single soul that comes into our care and we say, we're going to love them with all we have, with all we are, and do everything we can to show them that. And that means medically, physically, emotionally, and that their daily life truly does make a difference. And by no means do we ever put a dollar sign on an animal to say, we are only going to save them if it's under 2,000. Now we've got a little cat named Asia, a little tiny kitten, maybe just a couple months old at Blue Pearl. She's a $4,000 kitten too right now. She's on oxygen. She's getting a blood transfusion. We had Winston just go to Blue Pearl for having seizures too. You know, it's nonstop. It's endless. And no matter the turmoil that you put yourself through by loving them, it's literally always worth it. And did I answer your question? What was the accomplishment of 2025?
Hey, that kind of goes with the
Sheila,
accomplishment
everything.
and current. I know.
Yeah.
I that covers everything. I know Sai did look up our episode numbers.
Oh yeah.
We are so off, you guys.
What do we got?
We are so off. So our first season we had 9 episodes. Our second season we had 14.
Okay.
Okay.
Our third season we had 13.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
our fourth season we only had 6. So we
I was
cut our
gonna
fourth
say-
season short.
So 42.
Yeah,
42.
42 episodes.
That's
So-
amazing.
Average is like 10 episodes a season.
We started out strong. We faded a little bit. I like 10. That's pretty good.
I think this last year though was very chaotic, I think, for all of our lives.
Yeah.
It was.
I agree.
It was.
Of just, yeah, we weren't good enough with keeping up on it. That's why I was like, we need a fresh start.
Yes.
We need to get back on.
Hey, our 50th episode's got to be a good one. I feel like big things are
We
coming.
do need to keep track
And
of that.
I also want to catch up with Julie.
Yes.
Yeah,
You got to catch up with Julie and Kelly. I think, and Craig. It's just, we have so many amazing people, and Judy and Jane, and when Sue's in town, there's so many people for you.
I would love
There.
to meet Susan.
Yes, we have a big list.
Yeah.
I do have one more question though. No, I have so many questions
Yes.
outside of us wrapping our brains around while we're starting season 5. Update on the lighthouses, because I've been seeing a lot of them. I've been seeing the photos of them getting pulled in. We're doing it. I saw the recent lock-in with
Yes.
the staff at Little Gray Barn.
Little Gray Barn.
Yeah, you got to get Megan and Bailey to talk about
Oh,
that.
yeah. Okay, we'll
That
save
is
that
a
episode.
must.
Megan hasn't come on here yet.
Megan hasn't come on.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you just give us an overall update
I'm
on
going
the
to give you a high level. I know if you guys haven't listened and know about the lighthouses, go back. It's worth listening to understand the concept behind it. Basically, we're trying to be a different kind of shelter. Everything is about learning and evolving and providing the best possible life for every single animal that comes into our care. Right now, we have 7 lighthouses up at our Osawatomie shelter, 3 more to go. So there will be 10 total. 2 more come September 30th, and then the last one comes, I think, October 6th, something like that. We had an amazing match going on over August and September. I think we're at about $45,000 on that, or not 45, 35,000. It's up to 40. So we only have $5,000 left to meet that match and cover the expenses on the buildings alone for that. So, you know, there's so much to be grateful for. And a lot of that comes from our really really hard times. I was just sharing with Kelly Carey the other day, and I know I shared this before, how God plants the seeds. I forgot that she was one that originally, when we were in a big fight with the city of Osawatomie, and she's like, Jen, don't let the contract go, stay focused on the path. I'll build a shed out there. So like all these little tiny things God was planting in my subconscious, until I actually woke up and said, hey, this is a really great idea. And you know what? We can do it. And we are paving the way to show others it's possible. The city of Gardner is going to sponsor one so that they can have 2 of their animals there too. That will start November 1st. And I think that the next exciting thing about 2025 will be our Wichita shelter, which will open October 11th. Go ahead.
Interjecting. I was thinking about you this morning. We had our yearly marketing kickoff meeting for the season at work. And one of the slides talked about foolish dreamers. So if you don't know the background of the Chiefs, the Foolish Club, and what it is now was all a dream back with Lamar Hunt, and everybody called him foolish. And so they created the Foolish Club of the original 8 teams in the AFL. Either way, one of the things that we always come back to is have your foolish dreams, and they're only foolish because you're ahead of your time. And I think of you all the time when I hear that, of you say these things out loud, and people are like, Jen, that's foolish. But it is truly just because you are ahead of the time and it comes to life. And I think the lighthouses are a perfect example of that. And that other shelters will eventually come along to it and do the same thing and see that this is actually like revolutionary. So I just needed to give you compliments
Well, I appreciate
dream
that.
as big as you possibly can. And once you comes to life, like people will see the vision. And that's truly how like the NFL came to be. And everybody called it foolish. So I just needed to let you know I was thinking about you today.
I love that. And let me just share a little story of this too. When the $1 billion lottery was out and everybody was buying tickets, we didn't win, but that's okay. But my favorite part about it was everyone in our little group was sharing their dreams and sharing what they would do with it. And one dream, it was Kathy's, and I absolutely love it. It was to open up a vet school so that vets could go to school for free and we could educate people without the burden of having that financial debt on there, and to show a different way that shelters and rescues could run. Because I really truly think our animals deserve more. Not only our animals, but the people that take care of them. And the lighthouses, I was just sharing with the Wichita volunteer group the other day that we rented a 3,000 square foot building out there. I rented the 3,000 square foot other side of the warehouse and I literally built a pickleball court in there so that we can, number one, have fun and raise funds for the animal shelter side. But I truly do see us becoming part of the Wichita community, to where someday, somewhere down the road, we will have land and we will have 100 to 200 lighthouses out there, and the world will be changed, because you want to be able to go to a place where you leave and feel, can you guys hear my phone ringing? Where you leave, okay, where you leave and you feel like you've made a difference, other than going to a shelter and leaving and feeling heavy and sick and sad. And that's what Always and Forever is. It's about love. It's about, I say it all the time, the only thing you can never get back in this life is your time. And so you might as well make the most of it and share it with people and souls that you love. Let me try to get this phone that's
it might be important. You better answer your phone.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. It's actually about the little kitten, so I'll find out in a moment. Can you guys really not hear Moose in the background? Because he's singing the song of his people. Okay.
We'll probably hear what's
going on.
I edited it. No, we cannot. I cut you off there though, because you were about to give another update. And now I forgot what it was.
About Wichita.
What is the latest on Wichita?
So we're opening up October 11th, and it's going to be focused on our senior dogs. as well as neonatal kittens. And you might say, well, why are you opening up a shelter and only doing senior dogs there? Well, because it's a smaller facility and there's only going to be a couple employees there. So we'll be heavily dependent on volunteers. And the one thing that we don't want to do is put volunteers in a situation where they're not prepared for and they can't adequately take care of the animals. So having senior dogs is just a great way to get your feet wet, to know dog behavior, to understand play groups. And I don't know about you guys, but seniors are just, they're so incredible.
That's how you started, Jen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because we were just volunteers here. So we're going to take the principles that we learned here. We're going to apply them there. We did hire an amazing barn manager out there, Aspen. We got to get her on. Greta is another amazing manager shelter. She's going to be on the cat side, Aspen on the dog side. So, God keeps putting the right people in the picture to make this dream happen. And I didn't know that about the Chiefs. I think that's awesome. I absolutely love
Oh,
that
I'll send
because
you a whole article on it. Yeah, he wanted to, it's like such a similar story to what you're doing with animal rescue, except he was trying to get, it was the NFL at that time, and they would not let him buy a team.
yeah,
So he created his own league, the AFL, and it was 8 teams
yeah.
that joined him. And then they became such a competition to the NFL that they finally merged. And that's how we have the AFC and the NFC now. And then that's how we have the Super Bowl, because it's the two that were separate teams coming into one. So he on an airplane,
I didn't know that.
he wrote on a napkin what his dream was of. He built
Yeah.
out this whole league and vision, and everybody called him foolish to go against the grain because the NFL was the NFL. And it's literally what we have today. So yeah, I'll send you the whole.
Well, let's talk
We
about
just did a documentary on it.
no, that's because that's exactly what we want to do with hospitalization care too, as well.
Mhm.
Kind of like with Moose, with our St. Francis Hospital at Homestead East. It would just be open to the community, donation based, and if you can't afford to pay, maybe you can volunteer. And I just know and can feel that there are so many people out there that want to keep families together with the pets that love them versus
Mhm.
being surrendered to a shelter to die or to suffer, that we would find a way. And I just love, and I'm so proud of people in our organization who have the courage to dream. Because just like that, people call you foolish just because they're scared, and that's usually rooted in their fears. So
And I'm not doing
dreams
that
are,
story much justice, but I will send you the link. And
that's
maybe
okay. I didn't know it. Yeah, I'll read it. I love
yes,
it.
because
It's
and
incredible.
it really caught me off guard at work, because they're like, no, dream big. Like, what is your
Yeah.
biggest dream? And then let's see if we could, like, it is what we are founded on, within like our
Okay, Sheila, what's
strong
your biggest
marketing.
dream? What's your biggest dream, Sheila?
For work.
For anything, whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
Oh man, let me think on that. I know it for work.
Okay. What is it for work?
For work,
Okay, so for people that don't know, Sheila does a ton to promote young ladies in sports, and that doesn't even accurately describe how inspirational she is. So you should share a little bit about that.
okay, that's a whole nother episode. Getting the same facilities
That
to
was
match.
rude. I just led you into it. It's because here's when you develop kids and young girls early and they have self-confidence, then they have the ability to dream and know that it's possible. It's all interconnected. And that's what's so beautiful about this.
Yeah, my dream would
Come
be
on,
to
what's your
have the
dream?
same facilities for women playing football as men, of like flag football, practice facility, gym specifically for women, flag football specific fields, tackle fields, of like matching what the NFL has. So someday.
Love
Si, what
it.
are your biggest dreams?
Someday.
To win the lottery.
Size is to win the lottery and go from there.
That's not a dream. That's not, it's gotta be specific. You know what's funny? I have a couple of friends when I ask this, people get very self-conscious. Like it's hard to share your dreams at times. And also not everybody has a dream too, and that's okay. And if you don't have a dream and somebody else has a dream that your heart is called to, dang it, jump on the dream bandwagon. There's nothing wrong with that. Find where your heart calls you to make a difference and go all in, because life is too short not to have meaning and find your purpose.
I just was able to watch Krishna give a keynote speaker Krishna is the general manager of the Glory that we are all very good friends with. And she was referencing, I will not remember the study's name, but basically they did a study of a group of people. If you wrote down your goals and shared it with people compared to if you just kept thinking about them,
Mhm.
the ones who wrote them down were 74% more likely and like shared it with people, 74% more likely to achieve them. The ones that just continually thought about it and didn't write it down or say anything, I think it was like 36% reached them.
Well, I'm saying
I
now
believe
I'm gonna win the lottery, so I can
put it in the
help always
universe.
and
All right.
forever.
74%
We're gonna
chance.
do tons of lighthouses.
Mhm.
Gonna save lots of animals.
Yes.
That's so there's nothing wrong with trying to win
No.
the lottery.
There is nothing wrong with that. You know what I did again is I bought a notebook and I wrote down everything that I was going to do with the lottery. And I realized after I won the lottery, I gave it all away, obviously in a million different ways. Everybody that knows me that's getting something has a lot of work to do because it's gonna go with a purpose. So, but it's just, I love when people have the courage to think outside beyond what society says is acceptable or beyond what others think is standard. Because to me, animal sheltering is subpar. It's actually horrifically sad that beings that are so loving and give everything that they have to solely make your life better are treated so inhumanely that that is just the law. Like inhumane treatment is the law because they're not their property. And that's the bottom line. Do I know how to change legislation? No. I don't think I'm put on this earth to do that. I think I'm put on this
You
earth.
tried it though.
What's that?
You tried it though.
I sure do. I will try anything. I still don't know anything. But I really do feel like I'm put here to show people how to love animals and that you don't have to know what you're doing to start. And that as long as you're willing to figure it out and never give up, change is possible. And that's it. And if you inspire, or if I inspire one single person to treat an animal differently or better,
You inspired me, so
I think you've
then
been,
we make a difference.
yeah.
And you inspire others. So
No,
it's a
seriously,
beautiful
Jen.
ripple effect. It's
have
just,
you read a recent book I just read was The Power of Who?
no. Is it good?
Okay. Yes, you need to add that to your list. Um, but one of the chapters is basically you're actually less likely to share your goals and dreams with your close friends, but really those are the
Yeah.
people that will be able to help you because you don't know who they know. And for whatever
Yeah.
reason, we have this anxiety of like keeping it
Yeah.
tight to the people that are closest to us. And then like, but literally just tell them because you have no idea like their top three closest friends and their
The
like
impact. Yeah.
I say it all the time about the ripple effect of like
Yeah.
open up. We're more likely to go tell a stranger our dreams and what we're thinking about than like our best friends.
Absolutely. There's no fear of judgment with
No,
that. I totally understand that. Yeah.
but like the
Yeah.
ones
I
that
mean,
are
I can go on
willing to
Facebook Live
help
and just,
us and connect us to the right people are
yep.
like the top five people in your group.
Nowadays, it's not what you know, it's
Who you know. Yes.
Mm.
Share your dreams, everybody. That's the message
And
of
yeah,
season
yeah.
5. We are foolish dreamers in season 5.
I love how we're starting our season 5 off.
Yeah. I love it too. I mean, and then, the future is only limited by what you believe. That's the bottom line.
Snaps. I think we're already at like 40 minutes.
And we
And
only talked about like 2 things, but
Wait,
this was a good intro because
what
you
else
guys
do you
talked so
have, Jen? Like, come on, let's hear it. What updates do
much.
you have? What's the latest?
I mean, it's
anything on
true.
the homestead?
Yeah, so we actually got the design done for the inside of our building. Now, here's the thing too, is that we took what we learned about the lighthouses at Osawatomie and we're going to carry that over to KCMO. So we're going to have 30 lighthouses over at KCMO. And then we're going to also have 3. Now that's all dogs. So 30 dog lighthouse duplexes. So that's 60 dogs. And we're going to have 3 mini barns for the cats there. That way we can have an FILV. I think I got that right. And like an open mini barn and then also a quarantine one. So everything kind of changes and, change is very, very hard for some people, but it's all about finding the best route for our organization, which ultimately is for our animals and for our people. I know I say this all the time, but it's so incredibly true. Our people are our number one asset because they go all in. They give everything they have in every day to not only love the animals, but love each other. And one of the hardest part of rescue is loving the people. The animals are easy to love. How could you not love a dog? How could you not love a cat? Loving the drama, that's really hard. There's a lot of drama in rescue, and I fully take responsibility. I'm sure I contribute to it some days, but you have to get perspective. It's hard. Emotions are so high and sometimes so low. And the frantic of where does this dog go? Where does this cat go? And the loss, the grief, the pain, man, you feel it. And you guys know when you lose an animal that you love, it's so hard to put into words the indescribable physical pain of grief. And to me, it's very, very physical. You guys have played football for years. I have too. I have never known pain until grief, like true paralyzing pain. But you learn to keep going through that. And we could talk a whole episode on that. I know we got a couple in the past on that, but it truly does, it changes you in ways that can make you better or it can make you bitter. And in a lot of times in rescue, it goes to the latter. And that's why we really, really focus on living in the moment and just life and how precious and wonderful it is, even when you don't want to wake up in the morning, even on the hard days, even when the financial statements make you want to cry. But the donations always come in, and that's why, this would not exist if God didn't want us to keep going, if we weren't doing what we were meant to do. Because when I started this, I knew you guys and I knew nobody else, like nobody else. And to think that hundreds of thousands of people donate, $5 and $10, and that's truly the bulk of our donations, you guys, are very small donations that add up. But thank you to the larger ones. We do get a few larger ones too. Every single day is a miracle. And so there's always a reason to have a grateful heart. And I wish I said thank you to every single person in person who believes that their lives matter. And if it's a prayer, if it's just sharing on Facebook, if it's a donation, guys, whatever it is that you give, your heart, your time, your driving, whatever, it's so deeply appreciated. So even if you're listening to this podcast, thank you.
If you've made it this far, thank you.
You've made it this far. I know I ramble. You guys got to get other guests on because I know I'm a talker.
We do, but we had to kick it off with
yes.
We have a good lineup.
I am determined. Here's my goal. I am determined to be the number one podcast of 2025, 2026, season 5. How am I still not number one? That bothers me.
I think you might have gotten bumped back up.
I feel like it's just now a personal pride issue. I'm going to have to bribe people to listen to these. So,
well, our next episode, we have our new cat coordinator coming up. So listeners, follow up.
We're starting because usually, okay, we all know that we're mostly dog people here. So we're going to kick off the season and immediately go to cats to get that going.
Let's do it.
Yes, that is.
And then I heard you're going to do a podcast with our amazing adoption foster coordinator in Singapore.
Yes, we're going international.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
And that is correct. You do not have them most often.
Gosh darn it. Come on, people.
It is big hearts, bigger impact, how we fund the mission. I don't think that one was you.
No, it wasn't. And you know what? Why don't we just put like a fundraising title on one that I do to sucker people in?
But the fall fireside chat is in second place. David's Day is in third. And then fireside chat catch up with Jen is in fourth.
God, I'm second and fourth. They're so bad.
No, you were on David's Day, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were on the original David's Day. And we are, not only do we have to celebrate when we get to our 50th episode, but we are at 44,000 total downloads. So we also need to celebrate once we hit 50K downloads. All in season 5, guys. 555, angel number. Big things are happening.
Good things are happening. Good things are happening.
Oh,
So
that's good.
awesome.
I think we already have our dog of the episode.
Oh, who's our dog?
What do you think our dog is?
Oh, forgot. It's been a long day. So, Moose. Okay.
Don't cut this
So
out.
Moose.
We're
Okay,
not
so
gonna-
Moose, here's the thing. Moose, dog friendly, kid friendly, cat friendly. He might not have like a brain cell in his head because that he's just a boxer. It is what it is. But the hard part is he is available to foster adopt. He is with me temporarily because he has medications at 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 o'clock, then 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So I actually set like 10 different alarms on my phone, and every time it goes off, I go to the kitchen and give him meds. So to anyone that is not home during the day, that's why he's not a perfect fit. And that's why he's not with his foster family before with all the tiny humans in case somebody bumped his head. And so it was to no fault of their own. They loved him dearly. So he's not for everyone. And the little dude wants to play. And he's like a toddler on crack. He will jump on your counters. He doesn't know he had brain surgery, but he wants to be held in your arms. He gives the softest, sweetest kisses. And you look into his eyes and you just see and feel only love. So if anybody is out there is willing to give a chance on our very first brain surgery survivor, Moose is your guy. You can't go wrong with him. Sheila, if you were home, he would fit in your heart
Are
perfectly.
the meds, is that just because of the surgery? Is that long term?
No, so it's going to taper off.
Okay.
So they did keep him on seizure meds because the last thing that you want is for somebody after brain surgery to have a seizure. So those seizure meds will taper off. He's on codeine, gabapentin, potassium. Like I could send you guys a picture. There's probably 16 different meds on there. So the pain meds will taper off too, and then we'll get him to the point where he should just be good to go. He's just a miracle. He really, really is.
Oh,
So
love him. Well, he's our foster dog.
I can't believe I forgot. I was
I'm
like,
already
what
saying
dog
he's
are
our
we
foster
doing?
dog. He'll be our dog of the episode, changing up our design. I have to promote this season. We have our own Instagram, Dog on Truth About Rescue, where we will put more posts about Moose outside the cover dog. Some more information about him. If you're interested, you can follow on there. We're still working on the TikTok.
Oh,
that'll come
so
up.
here's what, if we record these and you send them to me, I actually have an app that can chop it up and take like 30 seconds. It does all the work.
Then we have to get.
So I just don't know how you send it to me and I download it. That's the problem.
It's not the technical part that we're hesitant about.
No,
It's
but
our
the app does it all. The app does it. I feel like
and we have to
have
get
filters?
ready.
Does it have to, if it has filters, I'm down for it. Just make sure you put some glasses and lip gloss on me.
We'll get a cooler background.
Or like we could do the Zoom where it flips back and forth to the people talking. And since I never shut up on it, I don't care. It wouldn't matter.
We also saw this woman on a podcast that she rents a storage unit and has the whole thing set up as a podcast.
I am not going to a storage unit.
She has it set up as the cutest podcast setup of like decorated with lamps and chairs, and she just goes and opens the door and it's her podcast like studio.
Marie.
I'm just saying.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could do a little mini barn at Homestead East and make it a podcast room.
See?
I love that.
And then
I love it too.
Do the podcast, and then we can have dogs in the episodes for on TikTok.
Yes.
Show the dog. And they can be
love it.
See? Cool streamers. Okay.
Perfect.
You probably have to go give Moose meds. Okay. This was a great episode.
It was. Thanks, Jen, for the catch up.
Excited. We'll edit, get this out.
Look forward to the cat episode next.
Yeah. I'll let you wrap it up.
All right. As always, it's never too late for happily ever after.